Hi learners, welcome back to Mathematics. We're here once again to deepen your understanding and foundation in mathematics. Now in this video lesson, we will seek to answer the question, how to simplify exponents. But, pag-usapan muna natin, what are exponents? Ano nga ba si exponent? Okay? Now, let's say for instance we have this example, x raised to n. Before we understand what are exponents, let's first talk about its parts, okay? So we have x raised to n here. This x, this is our, what we call the base. And n, this is our exponent. For others, call this as power. Mas kilala natin siya sa salitang power. Okay, now, what are exponents? Exponents tells us how many times a number is to be multiplied to itself. Okay. So, isa natin. How many times a number, in this case, what is our number? It is the base. Okay. So, a number, once we say a number, this is also the base. And this how many times, the number of times or the frequency that we will multiply this base to itself will be determined by our exponent. Okay. So, example, we have here 2 raised to 3 or 2 cubed. So, by definition of exponent, ang sabi natin is that it tells us how many times a number, our number or our base is to be multiplied to itself. So, on this one, it just means we have to multiply the number or the base to 3 times to itself. So, this will be equals to 2 times 2 times 2. Or 2 times 2 is 4. Multiplied by 2 again, this will be equal to 8. Ganyan. Okay? So, now, let's find the answer to the question, how do we simplify exponents? Kunwari, meron tayong ganito class. What if we have, let's say, x squared multiplied by, take note, in mathematics, we also use the dot to denote multiplication. Okay? Kasi, since we are to introduce variables already, may x na tayo, hindi na natin sinusulat as x times x. Kasi medyo nakakalito na yung class. So, we use the dot na lang in order to denote multiplication. Okay? So, let's say, for example, we have x squared multiplied by x cubed. Ayan. How do we simplify these exponents? Take note that we have here same bases. Okay? Same bases being multiplied with each other. And in doing so, kapag naka-encounter kayo ng ganito class, what you have to do is to use the power or the products of powers rule. Wherein, if you have two same bases being multiplied with each other, what you have to do is just copy the base, then proceed with addition of the exponents. Yan. So that will be by definition x raised to a multiplied by x raised to b will give us x raised to a plus b. Okay? So just copy the base, then proceed to addition of exponents. So this will be equal to copy the base, add the exponents, 2 plus 3 will be x raised to 5. That is now your answer. Okay? Another example. What if we have x multiplied by x squared? Yan. So again, let's check. We have two same bases being multiplied with each other. So, what we have to do, use the product of powers rule, copy the base, then proceed with addition of the exponents. So the exponent of our first factor, x, is 1. So it has an imaginary exponent of 1. So 1 plus exponent of second factor is 2. That will give us x raised to 3. Okay? Now, take note class na yung mga bases natin itong mga bases natin, wait lang, iba natin ito. So, itong mga bases natin, class, please take note that we are not only limited to x bases. So, hindi lang po x yung mga base natin. It can also be constants or any other variables. So, it can also be constants. So, what are constants? This is our whole number. So, lagay natin dito. Constants or whole numbers. Okay? Hindi lang x or any other variable tayo limited as a base. It can also be constants. Example, what if we have 2 cubed multiplied by 2 squared? Yeah. So again, take note. We have two same bases here, which is 2. For this example, we have two same bases multiplied with each other. So what we have to do here, class, is, again, product of powers rule, copy the base, then proceed to the addition of the exponents. So 3 plus 2, this should be equal to 5. Sorry. That is 2 raised to 5. I mean, 2 raised to 5. Okay? We can verify it. Bukayin lang natin ito, class. I-check natin kung tama ang 2 raised to 5 yan. So, check natin. So, 2, ito muna. 2 raised to 3 is 2 times 2 times 2. It means multiply 2, the base 2, thrice to itself. Multiplied by 2 times 2, or 2 squared is just 2 times 2. So, ilang 2 to lahat? That is 2 raised to 5. Okay? What about kung ganito naman yung example natin, class? What about if meron tayo, kunwari, kung kanina, we are multiplying product of powers whole. What if this time, we have two same bases, but this time being divided by with each other? So we have x cubed over x squared. This time, two same bases being divided with each other. Okay? Kapag ganito naman yung example, class, what you have to use is the quotient of powers rule. Or, kapag meron kayong two same bases being divided with each other, just copy the base, then this time proceed to the subtraction of exponents. Okay? So, let's simplify this one. X, since we have two same bases being divided with each other, copy the base and proceed to subtraction of exponents. So 3 minus 2, this should be equal to x raised to 1, or simply x. Okay. Another example. What if we have x squared over x? Yan. So again, we have two same bases here, class. So copy the base, then proceed to the subtraction of the exponents. Exponent here of x is 1. So this should be 2 minus 1, x raised to 1, or also equal to x. And also, same rules apply. Hindi lang tayo sa constant. Hindi lang tayo sa x. Hindi lang tayo limited sa x as base class. We can also have constants as bases. So let's say we have 2 raised to 4 over 2 raised to 2, or 2 squared. So same bases. Copy the base, subtract the exponent, and we will get 2 raised to 2. Okay? What if this time, ganito naman? What if, for example, meron tayong ganito. Ayan. Ito, medyo kakaiba na ito, class. Unlike product of powers rule, wherein sa product of powers rule kasi, meron tayong two same bases being multiplied with each other. This time, we still have multiplication. Saan yung multiplication natin? We have parentheses. Okay? But, ang minumultiply natin are the exponents. So we have a base x, then x inside the parentheses we have a base x raised to 2, or an exponent of 2. Then sa labas, minumultiply pa natin siya, or meron pa siyang isang exponent which is 3. So how do we simplify this one? Okay, gusto mo ganito. So how do we simplify this one? If you encounter such, what you have to use is the power of a power rule, wherein a base raised to an exponent being raised to another exponent, 3. What you have to do here is copy the base, then proceed to this time, multiplication naman of your exponents. So, uh, so we have here x 2 times 3, that will be x raised to 6. Okay, so I just want to emphasize here, class. Sa product of powers rule, you have two same bases being multiplied with each other. Dito sa power of a power rule naman, class, ang minumultiply natin are the exponents, not the bases. Okay? So what we multiply here are the exponents. Take note. Okay, another example. What if we have x cubed? Balik naman natin, x cubed squared. So here we have a base raised to an exponent being raised to another exponent. So kapag ganyan, just simply multiply. So again, this will be x raised to 6. Yan, baliktad na lang natin yung 2 tsaka 3. Okay? Eh, what if naman, meron tayong ganito, class? X squared. So, x raised to an exponent which is 1 being raised to another exponent 2. So, pag ganito, again, power of a power rule, proceed to the multiplication of your exponents. So, this will only be x squared. Okay? Well, next. What if naman, class, using power of a power rule kasi meron tayo isa lang. We only have a single base, one base lang. What if, ganito naman yung example natin. What if we have xy squared? So, ano-ano yung mga base natin dito? Or, do we have multiple bases here? Yes. So, we have x and we also have y. So, magkaiba yung ating bases. Kapag ganito, class, you take note kasi yung power of a power rule, we only have a single base. Dito, kapag meron naman tayong dalawang bases, or two or more bases, what we have to use is the power of a product rule. Wherein, sinasabi lang dito, class, kapag meron kang two or more bases being raised to an exponent, what you have to do is to distribute the exponents among your bases. So, this will be equal to, kailangan natin i-distribute si 2 or si square yung exponent natin papunta kay x and also papunta kay y. Yan. Pagbibigyan natin yung dalawang bases. So, how do we simplify this one? That will be x squared multiplied by y squared. Again, two different bases being raised to an exponent. Okay? What if ganito naman? xyz raised to 4. Diba? So again, ilan yung base natin dito? We have more than 2. So we have x, we have y, and we also have z. So this time, power of a product rule, class, it is not only limited to two different bases. Instead, two or more different bases. Okay? So this one will become, or how do we simplify xyz raised to 4? Distribute lang natin si 4 among our bases. So that's it. X raised to 4, y raised to 4, and z raised to 4. Okay? So, paano naman kaya kung ganito? Burahin muna natin ito. Paano naman kaya kung ganito, class? What if we have 2xy squared? Yan. So, ilan yung bases natin dito? We have, isa-isay natin, we have x, we also have y, also have y. Meron pa ba? Yes, meron pa class. Our 2. So again, yung basis natin class is not only limited sa mga variables, sa x, y, z, or anything, any variable. It can also be a constant. Okay? So dito, we have two or more bases. So using the power of a product rule, this will be distribute square among our bases. We have to distribute it. So this will be equal to 2 squared x squared y squared, or we can simplify. 2 squared is 2 times 2 x squared y squared, or 2 times 2 is 4 x squared y squared. So this is now your final answer. Okay, another. What if we have, kung kanina, power of a product rule, we have two different bases being multiplied with each other, then raised to an exponent. What if this time meron tayong ganito class? Let's say x over y raised to 2, or x over y squared. Ang kaibahan, kung kanina sa power of a product rule, we have two different bases multiplied with each other raised to an exponent. This time, we have two different bases, x and y, being divided with each other, then raised to an exponent. So kapag ganito naman class, what you have to use is the power of a quotient rule, wherein, kagaya lang din kanina, sa power of a product rule, we have to distribute ang ating exponent among our bases. So ganun din dito sa y, sa ating denominator. So distribute, this will be equal to x squared over y squared. So ganun lang class. Simplify nyo na yun. Okay? So what if we have x over y cube? So parang ganun lang din, no? So x cube over y cube. Simple lang. Or what if we have x over 2 cube? Yeah. So again, you have to distribute 3 among your bases. So x cube over 2 cube. Or we can simplify this one. X cube over 2 cube means 2 times 2 times 2. So that will be x cube over 2 times 2 is 4, multiplied by another 2, 8. So x cube over 8. Okay? Oh, what if meron tayong ganito class? X over 2y squared. Yan, parang ito. So we have here x squared, distribute natin yung 2 over, take note, dito sa baba, sa ating denominator, ilan ng base na meron tayo? We have 1 is 2 and another base which is y. So we have two different bases being raised to an exponent. Kasi di ba i-distribute din natin si 2 dito sa baba, sa denominator. So we have two different bases being raised to an exponent. So ano yun? That is power of a product rule. Two different bases being raised to an exponent. So ibig sabihin ng class, si square, si 2, hindi lang natin siya basta ibibigay kay 2y. Okay? Instead, ibibigay natin siya among them. So that will be 2 squared y squared. Or we can simplify this as x squared over 2 squared is 4y squared. This is now your final answer. Okay? So next. Ito, medyo madali lang class. What if we have x raised to 0? So simple lang. Any base raised to an exponent of 0 will give you 1. So, ganun lang yung class. Number 6, zero power rule. Or let's say you have 4 raised to 0. That is equal to 1. Any base raised to a 0 exponent is 1. Z raised to 0, that is also equal to 1. Okay? And lastly, what if we have, meron tayong ganitong example. What if, kung kanina sa 0 power rule, we have 0 exponent. What if we have naman negative exponent? Kunwari, x raised to negative 2. How do we simplify this? In simplifying a negative exponent, you have to use the negative exponent rule. Wherein, pag meron ka negative exponent, you just have to find the reciprocal ng iyong base. Okay? So, x raised to negative 2. Pag sinabi natin reciprocal class, sulat natin dito. Sinabi natin reciprocal, isa yung reciprocal, ang ibig sabihin lang nito class is kabaliktaran. So, lagyan natin na parang sign na kabaliktaran. Yan. Kabaliktaran. So, we have here x raised to negative 2. Okay. So, we can say that x here is a whole number. So, ang kanyang denominator is 1. So, paano natin pagbabalik-tarin ito? Kung si x, raised to negative 2 is yung nasa numerator natin, and 1 is our denominator, pag pinagbaliktad natin yung class, it will become yung 1, aakyat, siya yung magiging numerator, and x will be our denominator. But this time, take note, since tumawid, bumaba na yung ating x, tumawid siya sa ating fraction bar. Once tumawid yan sa ating fraction bar, yung exponent natin this time will become positive na. Okay? So, x raised to negative 2, if we simplify this one using the negative exponent rule, we just have to find the reciprocal 1 over x squared. So, this time, once tumawid siya sa ating fraction bar, the exponent will become positive. Okay? So, using lang natin itong 2. So, this will become positive 2. So, 1 over x squared. Okay? So, what if naman ganito yung example natin? Sige, gamit tayo ng iba para maintindihan lalo. So, what if we have x raised to negative 1? So, again, let's find x raised to negative 1 here. We can say that this is a whole number. So, ang kanyang denominator is 1. Always, a whole number, laging ang denominator ng ating whole number is 1. Okay, please take that class. So, x raised to negative 1 over 1, find its reciprocal. So, 1, yung denominator, magiging numerator, pagbabalik-tikin natin. Then, x, tumawid sa fraction bar yung x. So, this time, magiging positive na yung exponent. Or, this will be simply 1 over x. Okay? Now, what if naman, ganito class? What if ang meron tayong given is ganito. 1 over 2 raised to negative 3. Ayan. So, So, kung kanina, ang given natin is whole numbers, wherein ang reciprocal natin, or ang denominator natin is 1, so, ang nagiging mangyayari, 1 over x squared, bumababa yung negative. This time, paano naman kung given sa atin ay fraction, which is 1 over 2 raised to negative 3? Paano naman yan? So, ganun pa din class. You have to find the reciprocal. So, we have a fraction bar here. So, yung numerator natin na si 1, this time, magiging denominator na siya. Then, yung denominator, magiging numerator. So, since tumawid si 2 raised to negative 3 sa ating fraction bar, this time, magiging positive na si 3. Okay, so our final answer here will be 2 raised to 3 over 1, or we can say 2 cubed. Then we can simplify this further. That is 2 times 2 times 2, or positive 8. That is now your final answer. Okay? So here class, you have product of powers rule, quotient of powers rule, power of a power rule, power of a product rule, power of a quotient rule, zero power rule, and negative exponent rule. Or In mathematics, we call this as the laws of exponents. Okay? What you've just learned in this video lesson class are the laws of exponent. Okay? So, let's use the learnings. So, if you come to this point, natuto ba class? May natutunan ba? So, let's try. I-check natin yung mga learnings ninyo class. Let's try these examples. Kunwari meron tayong x raised to 5 multiplied by x raised to 4. Yeah. How do we simplify this? So take note, we have two same bases being multiplied with each other. So kapag ganyan, using the product of powers whole, just copy the base, then proceed to the addition of your exponent. So this should give us x raised to 9. Okay? Another. This time x raised to 5 multiplied by x raised to negative 4. Yeah. How do we do this? So again, using the products of power whole, we have two same bases being multiplied with each other. So copy the base, then proceed to the addition of your exponents. So 5 plus negative 4, this will be 5 minus 4, or x raised to 1, or simply x. Okay? So pwede nyo rin ito isulat class. Take note, you can also write this as x raised to 5 multiplied by x raised to negative 4. So we have here a negative exponent. What we have here is a negative exponent. So sabi natin, kapag negative exponent, we have to find the reciprocal. So meron tayo x raised to 5 multiplied by reciprocal ni x raised to 4 is 1 over x raised to 4. Okay? So tumawid ng fraction bar, naging positive na siya. We can rewrite this as x raised to 5 multiplied by 1. So that is x raised to 5 over x raised to 4. Now, using quotient of a power equal naman, dito nakita nyo class, we have two same bases being divided with each other. So, pag ganyan, copy the base, then proceed this time to subtraction of your exponents. So, x raised to 5 minus 4 will give us x raised to 1, or simply x. So, ganun pa din. We still arrive at the same answer. Okay? So, another example. What if we have x cubed? So, we have x cubed raised to 5. Yeah. So, using the power of a power whole, we have a base raised to an exponent being raised to another exponent. So, kapag ganito naman, what we have to do is to multiply, copy the base and multiply the exponents. So, this should give us x raised to 50. Okay? But what if, ganito naman, ganito yung given. We have x cubed multiplied by x cubed raised to negative 5. So we have here a base raised to an exponent being raised to another exponent. So, simple lang, ganun pa din, power of a power whole, copy the base and multiply our exponents. So, x raised to 3 times negative, so x raised to 3 times negative 5, this should be negative 5. X times 3 raised to negative 5, this should give us x raised to negative 15. Okay? Now, meron tayong x raised to negative 15 and a base being raised to a negative exponent. So, using our negative exponent rule, we can rewrite this as x raised to 15. So, this is now your simplified exponent. So, we just find the reciprocal. Then, tumawid sa ating fraction bar, positive na kayo yung exponent natin. Okay? So, further examples, we have ito. So, we have x raised to 4 over x raised to 10. What if meron tayo ganitong example? Two same bases being divided with each other. So, kailangan natin gawin dyan is just copy the base, then subtract the exponent. So 4 minus 10, this will give us negative 6. Or by negative exponent rule, this is simply x 1 over x raised to 6. Okay? Or you can also see it as parang ganito class. X raised to 4 over x raised to 10. So, isipin nyo na lang class, pag sino yung mas lamang? Yung denominator natin, di ba? X raised to 10 siya eh. 4 lang yung taas. Okay, so we can write this as x raised to 4 is x times x times x times x. Apat na x. While yung baba, x times x times x times x 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yan. Pwede nyo rin siya isulat ng ganito class. So, since divide, maka-cancel out ito. Maka-cancel out yung apat din dito. So, ilan ang natira sa baba? 6. So, that is 1 over x raised to 6. Okay? Another example. What if we have negative 4 x cubed y to the 4th cube. Okay. So, paano ang ginagawa natin dito? We have here, alamin muna natin, so this is simply multiplication. So power of a product rule. So what we have here are we have here 3 bases. What are those? Negative 4, we have x, and we have y. So sabi natin, power of a product rule, kapag ganito, i-distribute natin yung exponent among our bases. So this will be, say natin, negative 4 cube multiplied by x cube. So, meron tayong x cube being raised to another 3. Then we have y to the 4th being raised by cube again. So this time, x cube raised to 3, y to the 4th raised to 3. This is now a power of a power rule. A base with an exponent being raised to another exponent. So, pag ginagawa naman natin dito is to multiply the two exponents. Okay? Yan. Then we have here negative 4 cube, so that is negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Multiplied by another negative 4, this will give us negative 64. X cubed, x raised to 3 times 3 is x raised to 9. Then we have y raised to 12. So this is now your final answer. Okay? Ganito naman, what if we have 7x raised to 5 multiplied by 2x raised to 4. Yan. So, ano-ano yung mga base natin dito, class? We have 7x, and 2. Okay, so we say natin 7 multiplied by 2. Then we have x raised to 5 multiplied by x raised to 4. Okay, so 7 times 2, this is just multiplication, basic na yan, obviously. 7 times 2 is 14. Then dito, class, take note, mayroon tayong two same bases being multiplied with each other. So using the products of a power rule, that is just copy the base, then proceed with addition of your exponent. So simplified, it will become 14x raised to 9. Okay? Ito, last example. What if we have 25 x raised to 8 y to the 4th over 10x raised to 5 raised to y negative 5. Yan, isa-isahin natin ito, class. So, since this is division, pwede natin i-simplify. Pwede natin i-simplify yung ating mga whole numbers. So, 25 over 10. Then we also have x raised to 8, x raised to 8, then x raised to 5. So, ang definition natin dito, class, ang definition natin, di ba, using quotient of a power rule, if you have same bases being divided with each other, ang kailangan gawin is just copy the base, then proceed to subtraction of your exponent. So 8 minus 5, that is 3. Okay? Then we also have y to the fourth. Wala. So we have y to the fourth, then y to the negative 5. But y raised to negative 5 is negative. So kailangan natin gawin dito is to find its reciprocal. So y, dito natin nalagay. So y, sorry, wala. So y raised to negative 5, sige, diretso na pala natin dito, class. So y raised to negative 5, pag kinuha natin yung reciprocal, itatawid lang natin siya ng fraction bar. So it will become y raised to positive 5 na. Tinawid na lang natin siya. Okay? So we can erase this na. Yan. So we have here two same bases, y, being multiplied with each other. So kapag ganyan, ang ginagawa natin, class, two same bases being multiplied with each other, copy the base and just proceed to the addition of the exponent. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay? So then, we can simplify our whole numbers. 25 over 10 is, its common factor is 5, so that is 5 over 2. So your final answer, class, here will be 5x cubed y raised to 9 over 2. Okay? Sige, isa pang example para masaya. Last na. What if we have 8x raised to 4 y squared multiplied by 3x cubed y raised to negative 4. So, isa-isahin natin ito, class. So, we have 8 multiplied by 3. Saan si 3? Ito po yun. Yung mga whole numbers. Then we have x raised to 4, x raised to 3, then y squared, and then what we have here is y raised to negative 4. So, negative, okay, negative exponent, kunin na natin yung kanyang negative exponent rule, kunin na natin yung reciprocal. So, itawid na natin ang fraction bar. This will be y raised to positive 4 na. So, tumawid na siya ng fraction bar. Okay? So, simplify. 8 times 3 is 24. X raised to 4 times x raised to 3. So, two same bases being multiplied with each other. Copy the base. Then, proceed with addition of your exponents. So, 4 plus 3 is 7. Then, y squared over y raised to 4. So, you have their quotient of a powers rule, same exponent divided by with each other. So, copy the base, then proceed to subtraction of your exponents. So, y raised to negative 2. Since 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Okay, so we can simply write this as 24 x raised to 7. Then, yung y squared, itawid na natin. So, magiging positive na siya. And that is, class, yung final answer. Okay? So, di ba, madali lang? So, ganun-ganun lang. Laws of exponent yung napag-aralan natin, class. So, madali lang. Bakit pa kailangan pahirapan ng mga sarili ninyo, di ba? Kung kaya naman pala gawin na madali. Tama? Okay? And if this video helps you, class, learners, please don't forget to give a like and click the subscribe button for you to learn and develop more your love for the subject mathematics. And finally, learn math, solve math, love math.